Hello and welcome students. Welcome you all in my history class. So we are going through class 10 history first chapter, the rise of nationalism in Europe. Now in this video we are going to discuss about the topic a new conservatism after 1815. Now let's see what happened here. Now, after the defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte in the year 1815, Napoleon Bonaparte was defeated in the Battle of Waterloo in the year 1815. And this year. So, after the fall of Napoleon Bonaparte, what happened? Conservatism, means the conservative regime came in power. Now, who were these conservatives? Conservatives means those group of people who believe that traditional institution of state and society like the monarchy, the church, social hierarchy, property and the family should be preserved. And most conservatives, they did not propose a return to the society of pre-revolutionary days. And that means those group who have who wanted traditional institution of state and society, they have a feeling for that, and they like the monarchy, church, social hierarchy, property and the family, means they don't want to change. That type of group were known as conservative regime or conservative group of people. They did not want to change, but later on they realized that a change is required. That means they realized from the changes which was initiated by Napoleon Bonaparte. As Napoleon Bonaparte, he introduced so many laws, so many reforms which are for the benefit of the society. So after seeing all this law and the reform or the changes, they also realized that some changes were required. That modernization could in fact strengthen traditional institutions like the monarchy, and it could make the state power more effective and strong. Later on they realized and a modern army, an efficient bureaucracy, a dynamic economy, the abolition of feudalism and serfdom could strengthen the autocratic monarchy of Europe. So later on they realized this thing. Next, in 1815, representative of the European powers like Britain, Russia, Prussia and Austria, who had collectively defeated Napoleon Bonaparte. Together they defeated Napoleon Bonaparte. They met at Vienna Congress to draw up a settlement for Europe. As Napoleon Bonaparte was defeated, now who will hold the power? Who will control Europe? So this was a question. Now the Congress was hosted by the Austrian Chancellor Duke Metternich, and the delegates drew up the Treaty of Vienna of 1815. So the representative, they met at a Vienna Congress for the settlement for Europe. And here who was the host? That it was hosted, that Congress, Vienna Congress, it was hosted by Austrian Chancellor Duke Metternich. This is also important, Duke Metternich. This comes for 1 marks. Who hosted the Vienna Congress in Europe? That is Duke Metternich. Only the name you have to write over here. Now the delegates drew up the Treaty of Vienna of 1815. Why? With the object of undoing most of the changes that had come about in Europe during the Napoleonic Wars. So here what happened? That Napoleon Bonaparte, he had done so many reforms and changes. So this Treaty of Vienna, this Congress, they together met all these countries representative, and they met together here with the object, means what was their object, means why they want to meet there, because they want to undo most of the changes which Napoleon had did. So they will just undo it, whatever changes were there which was done by Napoleon Bonaparte. Now they want to undo it. Now, the Bourbon dynasty, which had been deposed during the French Revolution. So, as we know that children, during French Revolution, Bourbon dynasty was totally demolished and it was restored to power now means after this treaty of Vienna Congress it was held, so it was declared that Bourbon dynasty will again come to power. And France lost the territories it has annexed under Napoleon Bonaparte. So France also lost the territories which was occupied by Napoleon Bonaparte, and a series of states were set on the boundaries of France to prevent French expansion in Europe. And lots of states were set up on the boundaries of France. Why? So that to stop France from extending its territory. Okay, so that French expansion should not be done in future. And that is the reason why so many states were set up on the boundaries of France. Next, thus the Kingdom of Netherlands, which included Belgium, was set up in the north and Genoa was added to the Piedmont in the south, whereas Prussia was also given important new territories on its western frontier, while Austria was given control of northern Italy. But the German Confederation of 39 states that had been set up by Napoleon Bonaparte was left untouched. Okay, German Confederation of 39 states, it was totally left untouched, means no changes were there. And in the east, Russia was given part of Poland, while Prussia was given a portion of Saxony. Now, the main intention was to restore the monarchies that had been overthrown by Napoleon Bonaparte and to create a new conservative order in Europe. That means the main intention. What was the main intention behind this conservative regime who came in power? That means they want to restore the monarchy, means monarchical rule they want to bring, which had been overthrown by Napoleon Bonaparte under his rule, and to create a new conservative order in Europe. So this was the thing here. Bourbon dynasty, which was deposed to power, was to restored to power. France lost the territories it has annexed under Napoleon Bonaparte, and a series of states were set up. Okay, this is another point. And this one, okay, Kingdom of Netherlands was set up in the north, Genoa was added to Piedmont in the south, and Prussia was also given some important new territories. Okay, but German Confederation of 39 states, which was set up by Napoleon Bonaparte, was totally left untouched. Okay, and here the main intention was to restore the monarchy and to create a new conservative order in Europe. So this is the main intention. Next, conservative regimes set up in 1815 were autocratic. Okay, they were autocrats. They did not tolerate criticism and dissent. Okay, nobody can protest under their rule, and they sought to curb the activities that questions the legitimacy of autocratic government. Means nobody could protest against this conservative regime and nobody could question, and if anybody who is doing so, he or she will be punished by this government, autocratic government. Now most of them imposed censorship law to control what was said in newspaper, book, play, song, and reflected the idea of liberty and freedom. Okay, so here we'll see that there was no freedom of speech and expression, because here this conservative regime, they totally imposed censorship law. Censorship law means nobody could publish anything against this government, and those who want to publish anything in newspaper, any play, song, and anything else, they must have to take permission of this government, like we have seen in the case of Louis XVI rule, under his time period, under his rule, right? So this was the case here. Now, and ideas of liberty and freedom associated with the French Revolution. Okay, the memory of French Revolution continue to inspire the liberals. Now the liberals means a group of revolutionaries. They were, they were continue to inspire the memory of this French Revolution. It was totally just like a memorable event which was continuously inspiring the liberal groups. Liberal groups, those who want to fight, for the country. Okay, one of the major issue which was taken up by the liberal nationalists who criticized the new conservative order was the freedom of the press. Okay, so here you'll see that one of the major issue which was taken by the liberal nationalists. So what this liberal nationalist they wanted? Freedom of the press. Okay, that means everybody should have the freedom, every citizens they should have the freedom of speech and expression. And if the government is not at all doing any good work or taking any good decision for the society or for the citizens, then they must have the power to protest also against that government. So censorship law must be banned. Okay, so this was one of the major issues of the liberal nationalists. They wanted freedom of the press. Okay, so this is all about the conservative regime. Means after the fall of Napoleon Bonaparte, new conservative regime or group came in power and they imposed censorship law. Next, coming to next topic, that is the revolutionaries. Okay, revolutionary means freedom fighters. Okay, those who want to protest and fight for their country. Now, during the years following 1815, the fear of repression drove many liberal nationalists underground. Now, what is happening here? That due to, there was a fear, okay, because censorship law was there, nobody could protest against the government. But this liberal nationalists, they were protesting against the government and they want the freedom of press. So what is happening? They were severely punished and they were killed also. So for that fear, they have to be underground. Okay, they have to be underground, and by hiding they were planning something, means secretly they were planning how to fight for the country, how to give independence and freedom. So secret society sprang up in many European states. Secret society were formed. Okay, those liberal nationalists, they were creating secret society. Why? To train the revolutionaries and to spread their ideas. They were giving training to the revolutionaries, okay, to fight against this injustice and to spread their ideas of nationalism for the country, to make aware the people. So to be revolutionary at this time meant a commitment to oppose the monarchical form that had been established after the Vienna Congress. So it's pretty sure that if they were spreading the ideas of nationalism, okay, and that means they are opposing the monarchical form of government which was prevailing that time. And most of these revolutionaries, they also saw the creation of nation state as a necessary part of the struggle for freedom. So they have understood that we also have to create, nation state. Nation state means a common, people will share a common culture, tradition, language. Okay, in this way, a sense of brotherhood will emerge among the people. In spite of the diversity, still they all are together, because in a nation state the people will share a common identity. So this was also a necessary part of the struggle for freedom. Okay, now one such individual was the Italian revolutionary Giuseppe Mazzini. Now this person's role, this was very, very important. Giuseppe Mazzini was an Italian revolutionary. He was born in Genoa in 1807. He became a member of secret society. Okay, he became a member of secret society of the Carbonari, and as a young man of 24, he was sent into exile in 1831. Why? For attempting a revolution in Liguria. Okay, so for that reason he was sent into exile at the age of 24. But he subsequently founded two more underground societies, which was First was Young Italy in Marseilles and then Young Europe in Bern. Okay, these two secret societies were formed by Giuseppe Mazzini, and which was very important, and whose members were like-minded young men from Poland, France, Italy and the German states. Okay, now Mazzini believed that God had intended nations to be the natural units of mankind. Okay, he believed that God had intended the nations to be natural units of mankind. So Italy could not continue to be a patchwork of small states and kingdom. It had to be forged into a single unified republic within a wider alliance of nations. So he wanted unification of Italy. It should be a republic where people can choose their own leader. This unification alone could be the basis of Italian liberty. Following his model, secret societies were set up in Germany, France, Switzerland, and Poland. The Mazzini's relentless opposition to monarchy and his vision of democratic republic frightened the conservatives. The conservative regime or the group, they were in fear. They were totally scared of this person Mazzini. And Metternich, Duke Metternich, who hosted the Vienna Congress, he described him as the most dangerous enemy of social order. Okay, this was a statement given by Metternich, Duke Metternich, because Metternich also did not like this person, because Mazzini was fighting for Italian unification. He was fighting for his country, for unification, for freedom. So this person Metternich, that they were all belonging to conservative regime. And so this Duke Metternich, he described Giuseppe Mazzini as the most dangerous enemy of our social order. Okay, so this was a statement given by Duke Metternich. This comes for 1 mark question, children. That Duke Metternich described whom as the most dangerous enemy of social order? Then you have to write Giuseppe Mazzini. And who had given the statement as the most dangerous enemy of social order? Then you have to write Duke Metternich. Okay, so this was all about Giuseppe Mazzini. Okay, he was an Italian revolutionary and he formed 2 secret society. That also you remember, children. This is also important. Young Italy in Marseilles, whereas Young Europe in Bern. Okay, these were the 2 secret society which was formed by Italian revolutionary Giuseppe Mazzini. Okay, so I hope this is clear to all of you. These 2 topics, children. First one is a new conservatism after 1815 and the revolutionaries. So that's all for this video, children. Thank you for watching the video. Keep updated and watch all the videos. Thank you, everyone.